One of the best things that you can do for yourself is give yourself what I call lifetime. Because you have time when you focus on business and activities that you do that make money, and then you have activities in the backstage of your life where you delegate and prepare and clean things up and systematize. So it's like putting new pipes on your car or putting new wheels on your car. It's upgrading what you have so that when you race, you run better. And so in our lives, we can live the same way. It's a little like arts. It's a little like theater people. Like they have rehearsals and they have backstage, and then they have 4 days of really going at something, and then in 1 hour, 2 hours, they completely stun whoever is enjoying that performance. It's the preparation that takes the time. But we need the energy. So how do we get that spiritual punch? It's been said by so many that to really win the game, you have to have more spiritual punch. But what is spiritual punch? Spiritual punch is enthusiasm for what you do. It's like you got to look at what you get to do rather than what you have to do. What you get to do. What is the blessing of what you get to do? What is the opportunity of what you really get to do? And if you look at it that way, you'll start to count your blessings even more. So this gets even better. Let's say that now what we get to do is we get to enjoy the free time that we make with the money that we buy it with. Because time is not money, because you don't get paid for time. You get paid for results. But money buys time. And so when you buy the time with your money, you provide yourself a space for several things. Number one is free days are days for rejuvenation. When you plan a free day, a day to do no business, a day where you're not doing any screen time, you are rejuvenating, which is to become young again. You are accessing a quality of your young self, your soul. You're letting your soul catch up with you by having a day where you can truly access some deep listening. These days are days for you to gather yourself, your wisdom, to be grateful for what you have. You'll find yourself looking back on how cool things are. You'll turn important obstacles into lessons. You'll see epiphanies and breakthroughs. This is called the law of the third level, where breakthroughs come from the outside. They don't come from the internal. They don't come from the performance moment. They come from what happens on the sidelines. They come from what happens when you're sitting outside. They come from what happens when in the liminal periods, the periods of non-action, non-effort. And if you get great at making these kinds of days for enthusiasm, what you find is it takes a lot of effort to make it. You need days to plan for those kind of days. So think of those backstage days as twofold. One is to plan great focus days for your business, but also have great free days for what you do after hours. And it's really important you make effort to make less effort. So you plan it, and then you live the experience, and then you take delivery of it, and then you integrate that into your life. So you become young again, because the first thing you do on a free day is you have fun and you do funny things. One of my favorite things to do is to call my sister on a free day because she makes me laugh all the time. And when I laugh, I feel like I'm doing yoga. I'm just taking off my conditioned thinking. I'm living in a freestyle way. It's unplanned. It's spontaneous. We're laughing. And there's so much joy in that. And there's also biology. There's chemistry in that. There's something that happens chemically in me that just relaxes my system. And it makes me feel lighter. And that changes my mood. It changes my state of mind. And so we want to be able to access those kinds of resources. The other kind of free day is free days where we're just chilling out. Someone asked me, is a free day downtime? No, it's not downtime. It's time to rejuvenate. It's time to gather your spiritual punch. Well, what is spiritual punch? It's enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm means entheo, which means God within. It means accessing that life spirit or fountainhead of spirit, that enthusiasm for life that we have that comes from blessings, and that we don't have a business that consumes our life. We have a business that serves our life. And if you want to know how you're doing with your team or your support system, I can tell you by how you spend your time outside your business, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking about. If you're picking up your phone all the time, you're not delegating enough. Right? You're not setting communications, expectations. You're not prioritizing yourself. You're not paying attention to your own self-care. And so Your life is organized around always taking things out. It's extractive rather than regenerative. And think about the boss that you are. Do you want to be the guy or the gal that people work for where you're always tired and fatigued and unapproachable and irritatable? Of course not. No one wants to sign up for a boss like that. They turn you in and ask for a new one. Do they want an inspired boss, a grateful boss, someone that demonstrates balance in their life, someone that knows that hard work doesn't substitute intelligence, that understands what slowing down, rejuvenation, renewal really does to their intensity? Yeah, because that's wise action. That's wise effort. That's called smart work, not hard work. Because there's a diminishing return to working so hard that without any kind of in-betweens, without any rest, without any renewals, you're going to make mistakes. I know that there's a creative zone. I mean, you can go probably about 10 days without one of these days, and then you're going to get very mechanical, and you're going to get very reactive. And those are the zones where you're likely to endanger yourself with costly mistakes. You make poor decisions. You don't make decisions creatively, usefully, innovatively. You make decisions with limits. You make decisions not seeing the playing field. All of your brain isn't fully there, fully on. You don't have access to all of your executive function. You are having to force yourself to do things. And so if you want to force yourself less and you want to engage yourself to naturally be in the enthusiasm zone, then it's looking at how many free days or the quality of free days that you take. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but how do I take these free days when I have all this responsibility? I'm a dad, or I'm a husband, or I have other people in my life. That's a great question, and that's why there's coaches, is that it's not so easy to just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take 2 days off, or I'm going to take 3 days off, and everybody in the world is going to be fine. There's some planning in that. We have to make sure we're covered. It's like leaving our house for a trip. The dog food is made, the lights are left on, the bills are paid, the mail is brought in. We got to make sure that we take good care of things so that we're not caught in those distractions while we're on those free days. Because you get snagged on a free day, it ruins the whole thing. So like a show, it takes some very synchronized planning and choreography to really clear the decks for action to make sure that you access your intentional stillness, your intentional connectedness, your intentional fun, your intentional chill. Again, it takes effort to make less effort. So what I recommend is that you try to plan your free days in advance. Maybe 12 months is the idea, and you get a number in the mind, and then you work backwards. I like the number 150. So if you count up the weekends, you've got, let's see, 100 and, what's that? So you've got 52, it's 104, you've got 52 weeks, so you've got Saturday, Sunday. And weekdays and weekends, it doesn't matter. Free days are free days. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be a weekday or a weekend. It's a free day. And so you work backwards. Now, what I would do is I would block off the ones that are already on the government calendar. Your Easters, you've got your spring breaks, you have your winter, then you have all your 3-day weekends, and then you have your 4-day weekends. You're probably somewhere about 121 to 128 naturally. And then every quarter, I recommend taking at least 9 days, 10 days with a good free day stint. So you have a deep dive. You need about 9-10 days therapeutically to really get the full rejuvenation experience of a free day. Don't do little ones, 5, 4s. Do the big deal because you're going to get a lot more depth. You're going to get a lot more of a disturbance on a free day that interrupts your habits. And because you've stepped away, here's what you're going to do better is you're going to delegate much better. So the longer the free days, the more that you hand off things to your team, and the more automated, the more supported you will be. People are masterful at delegating when they take more free days, and they build a more self-managing company because of it. It's kind of counterintuitive, right? The more you take the time off, the more that you build a business that has, well, value, because a business is only as valuable as how it runs without you. And if you plan already how you're going to not be there, you already have a system now to really be thinking about what do I do before I go and how do I come back again? Those two periods are kind of like the job descriptions of your closest supporting people. Hey, I'm going to be away in the next 30 days for 5 days, 6 days. I want to have no screen time, and I want to come back and hit the ground running. What 3 or 4 things could you do to support me in taking delivery of that? Now, you might be saying to yourself, but JD, wait, what if I take these free days and everyone in my organization starts to, Well, they start to loosen up. What happens when they want to take a bunch of them? Well, the boss is out. Why shouldn't I? He's playing. Why can't I play? And so we hold ourselves back. We deprive ourselves because we're afraid we'll lose control of our team. It's never true, by the way. That is a total miss. It's a myth. Actually, what you're doing is when you come back from a set of free days, you're so grateful and enthusiastic, people wonder, what the heck were you doing? And they want to be led by you. They actually love you more and want to follow you more the more fulfilled you are. When you get yourself happier, when you spend time with your loved ones, when you go places that intrigue you, inspire you, surprise you, and refill you, you come back and you have more to give people. It's your refill. So everyone actually leans on them. I've had more leaders say that their staff has said, hey, Joe, take those free days again. It's not that I don't want you here. It's just that how much we love you when you come back. And then Joe goes and he brings back like 2 really great insights or 3 things that he brings back that are like gems. And they all say, how did you learn that? How did you get that? How did you make that plan? And he says, free days. And they say, I just want you to take more because we love the way we're led and we love the fact that we can support you in loving your life and that you just keep giving back more and more energy, more and more direction, more and more creativity, capability to us that inspires us. And then you look at that as an organization. I've done experiments where organizations may work a 50-week year, and when they worked a 46-week year, they doubled or tripled their results. Why? Because they had more renewal that gave them more intensity. That renewal was looked upon as a resource, as a source, and an engine of creativity and usefulness. When we're in a marketplace like this, we're not paid for the hardest work. We're paid for being the most valuable, and that gives us leverage. So how do we position for being value creators? Well, we make ourselves creative. How do we make ourselves creative? We have 2 zones. We work our ass off on the things that we are unique at doing, and we do them the best in the world, and then we take that time off in a way where we can consolidate our gains, put it back together, put ourselves together in the best way, and go out and perform with gratitude. When you have gratitude, remember, Sunday is the first day of the week. So let's say if you had a Sunday free day, when you have all that gratitude and vigor, and you come into that office on Monday and people see you, no doubt about it, they wonder what's going on with you. And it rubs off. I've been in my elevator on a Monday, and people like, no, I'm zinging. I'm like having a buzz. And they wonder, are you on drugs? What's going on? And I say, free days. What's that? Is it downtime? No. Can you do them alone? Yes. Pick the people that you love to be with, including yourself, and then pick different experiences. Look at the places you want to go. I recommend that you position yourself to go to places that you haven't seen, is to go to places that give you new perspective. If you go out of the country, for example, and you go into new cultures, it's a great way for you to see from where other people are and to discover their different cultural kind of milieu and go into different worlds because it actually exercises your empathic concern. It improves your ability to honor differences, to gradually understand others, is a great way for you to exercise and expand your emotional intelligence. It improves your equanimity, which is the gateway to the open heart, and compassion and empathy, which today are some of the best top leadership traits in your way of leading. So to access that, it's really how you live in your life. The third thing is to learn something new. Sometimes free days are a great way to learn some new activity that you've had on your bucket list. Like if you're going to a beach experience, learn to kite surf, maybe parasail, learn how to play bocce, or learn how to play pickleball near the beach, or maybe play paddle tennis or ping pong, but learn something new. Take a yoga class, learn Tai Chi, learn Qigong, learn how to meditate, learn some underwater photography, learn how to scuba dive, learn how to snorkel. Life is a great adventure, and you want to make sure that, as I say these things to you, confront your perceived immortality. I mean, if you think about it, with the time remaining and not having any regrets in your life, it's important to have guilt-free play, which is to have fun, be funny, chill out, love your life, and be that kind of freestyler that just doesn't have anything scheduled. It doesn't have to be an itinerary. It can be free days. You may also be wondering, well, how do I do this when my spouse may not be with me on this? Well, what kind of person does your spouse want to be married to? Do they want to be married to someone that is constantly regretting that they didn't do anything that they really wanted, that they smothered themselves and that they suppressed their voice because they had all these fun ideas and things, but they just didn't want to upset the olive cart? That's a great way for some partner to be disinterested in you. When you're on your terms and you do some things your way, it actually activates a certain level of respect in your partnerships, is that they realize that you're being true to yourself and you're taking the onus off them from being responsible for filling this part of you. No one can give this to you but yourself. So if you can't get with them on those free days, talk to them about why this matters to them, what you owe them. Maybe it's about you coming home happy and coming home fulfilled in a way they cannot do that for you. And then you have more to give. You give what you've been given. It's your responsibility to refill the fountainhead of your youth, to rekindle the spirit of your youth, and to catch up with yourself and let your soul catch up with you. To tap into this is indispensable. Make your free days a necessity, not a luxury. This is soul food, right? You don't need to define yourself or your identity by work. If you think that work defines your identity, you will find it hard to do this because you'll think that you're being lazy or you're getting away with something. And then to avoid that, you won't do it. You'll procrastinate on it, or you'll try to find it in other ways. And you can't get this synthetically. You can't get this through alcohol. You can't get this through a drug. You can't even get this through any other type of thing. Free days are free days. Experiences are experiences. You integrate them and you have them. And they are so unbelievably rejuvenating and animating and activating when you take them. So if you think about starting this process, it's maybe going to take a little bit to get a 747 off the ground, as they say. It's 10 times the force as opposed to being up in the air and having that thermal of air when they have the inertia effect going. You'll have the same thing. So realize that up front, it's going to take a little bit to assimilate these habits and these new communications about what you're going to do. And you may want to plan your calendar in advance so people can anticipate this. And also you get psyched up looking forward to places you're going to be with people you love doing things that you are intrigued with. Do what's fascinating, interesting, and transformative. If you always have subject matter like that in your life plan, you will always entrance yourself into new experiences that wake you up in the morning and look forward to the day. Look forward to what's coming. It makes you optimistic in the midst of a world that's around you. It makes you a pilgrim in the ruins. There could be bad things going on around, but you're so looking forward to your experiences that you're the light in the room. And that people around you are wondering, what is going on with you? Why are you so alive? What is it about you that has just got this light that's gone on that makes you so approachable and genuinely interesting? And it's because how you're living in your life. It's creating a life that you love because you're organizing it around what matters to you. And free days are a way to ensure yourself that the subject matter of the creative process, which is your life plan, you're making your life as art. And you can even make it a masterpiece. You could say, well, this quarter, this is the free days. These are the experiences. These are the places. These are the people. And then you plan them. And then you make sure that all the logistics are set up. So you walk right into them. You get your support system set up. And then you learn so much about you, about what your preferences are. And then you go into your next one and you continue to challenge yourself to be a great free day creator. And as you do that more and more and more, you're just more inspired, you're more motivated, you're more fascinated with life, which is really what being human is about. It's about living, it's not existing, right? That we do things with the time that we have that are meaningful. And that's really what the juice of life is for, is to touch our own life and to be able to touch the lives of others. And if we want access to that spiritual punch for whatever our work is, whatever we purpose in our life, we've got to create a suppository where we can grab the gold and we can find that gold and not be corruptible or blown over by things that we regret or despair or denial. Because when we don't move in our dreams, it costs us. We have so much music in us to play, and in order for us to play it, we have to tap into that reservoir of energy. I think one of the things for me on free days that always blows me away are the breakthroughs, is that when I'm not really actively doing something, I'm actually being myself, and there's a gateway, there's a wisdom where I get insights and I get sudden, just cool premonitions and thoughts and emerging moments that come to me and vistas where I just see something or I think of something and then there's a poem in it or there's a generative image in that and I write it down and I go to remember it. And it's like, who installed that? Was there someone that's just kind of lobbing in great thoughts from afar? Is there not yet emerging knowledge of someone just plugging it right into my consciousness? I don't know. I don't need to figure out those mysteries. They don't matter for me to figure it out. I just know it works. It's like turning a light bulb on. Boink! It's on, and it's light. And it's how we do things outside of our business that makes that work. So if you want to be a great entrepreneur, if you want to create a life you love, then start looking at this and begin making a plan and begin looking at the people in your life that you love to do this with or could do this with or would do this with. And then look at yourself. Have days for chill out. Have days for discovery. Have days for being fun and doing funny things. Have those thematic days where you have different flavors of free days, but every one of them is designed to bring you into aliveness. Every one of them. And you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. Because a lot of your unique gifts and abilities are held down by always being in the chores that you do. You can't always shine in the fullness of your potential doing work that obligates you. It's the unobligated moments, the fun moments, the playful moments that really access our biggest abilities and talents. And that if we ever really fully want to understand what we have to give, the true gifts that we have, we must be able to sit with ourselves and to let go and to let come all of those possibilities that really will be available to rain on us when we open this bucket of the free day. So hopefully I've said a few things to you here that have raised your eyebrows, have given you some really good thoughts. All the ideas in the world are just hallucinations unless they're implemented. And so I like to think that we not only give you the mindset in our coaching work, but we give you the systems to implement. And so if you're doing this now in our coaching, let's do more of it. Let's amplify it. If you're not getting coached and you're someone listening to this, then go to highlevelperformance.com and let's see if we can get you coached. And maybe you've been saying to yourself, oh, I wish, or I regret, and I wish I had gotten with my friends, and I wish that I'd been true to myself, and I wish that I had dreamed the dream, and I wish that I had gotten to all the dreams that I wanted to get to. And oh, I wish I hadn't compromised, and oh, I wish I hadn't just kept it cool and subjugated it or subordinated myself. Oh gosh, I really wish that I had done it. Where's my courage? If you're saying that to yourself, then maybe it's time for a wingman. Maybe it's time for a companion that keeps you on your toes. Accountability, motivation, organization, structure, clarity, all that. Give that gift to yourself. Get yourself coached. We're at highlevelperformance.com. My name is JD, the founder and head coach at High Level Performance. And we continue to bring these great executives and business leaders toward high level performance, and we challenge beautiful and great minds. And so I'd love to give you access to our tools and make this process really fun, make it easy, and make it very accessible to you. It's about speed. It's about impact. Looking forward. Thank you.